We are back at bigleaguepolitics.com, broadcasting to you as always from a secure location, and we have some good news today. Dr. Jerome Corsi, the writer, the conservative, has decided that he will not be taking a plea deal in the Robert Mueller case, the fake Russia hoax. Okay, obviously they were pressuring Dr. Corsi. It was reported that Dr. Corsi was in plea talks with Mueller. Well, Corsi said no, he rejected the Mueller plea deal, and it looks like Jerome Corsi is really being targeted by Mueller for some nefarious reasons. First of all, the first thing I want to do, and then we're going to get into more about Mueller and Corsi and their history together, but I want to read this text message that I just got from Roger Stone. I don't know if Robert Mueller is reading these texts in real time. If so, he can just watch the show. Here is Roger Stone's response to Dr. Jerry Corsi. I continue to see that my friend Dr. Jerry Corsi is being harassed by the special counsel, not for lying, but for refusing to lie. It is inconceivable that in America someone would be prosecuted for refusing to swear to a false narrative pushed on him by the Mueller investigators. As Jerry just told OAN, he did not recall the specific details of what the special counsel Gestapo put in front of him and did not willfully or knowingly lie to them. Jerry is a meticulous researcher. This is what he does. He connects the dots to draw conclusions. It is what every good investigative journalist does. If Jerry ever deduced that Mr. Podesta's emails had been purloined and would be published by WikiLeaks, he did not share that conclusion with me. My first ever communication of any kind with Jerry about the Podesta emails was after WikiLeaks published them. Prior to that, our discussions had been limited to the research he had been doing on the money and business ties that the Podesta brothers had with Russian interests. Jerry has steadfastly maintained and written extensively about his deep dive into the Panama Papers published in April 2016 and the July 2016 Government Accountability Institute report From Russia with Money, which prominently featured a detailed accounting of John Podesta's ties to Russia. I never received advance notice from anyone that Podesta's emails had been nicked, as the Brits would say, and would be published. Any and all research I received from Dr. Corsi came from public legal sources. As Dr. Corsi has said, I have no knowledge of any contact or communication with Julian Assange or WikiLeaks by Dr. Corsi. That is Roger Stone, senior advisor to the President Trump 2016 campaign, making it very clear that Corsi is innocent, that this is all a big Russia hoax. Roger has released texts showing that he himself is innocent because he learned about the WikiLeaks dump from a guy named Randy Credico, not from Julian Assange himself. So this whole thing is engineered and it's manufactured and it's kind of silly. And we have a bombshell report up on the site right now, and I hope you read it, about how Robert Mueller is being criminally investigated by the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation during his time as FBI director. The investigation is ongoing right now in Tennessee, and he is accused of actually framing a right-wing conservative man on gun charges, okay? Now, that's a pretty big deal. So Mueller is under investigation, but here's the thing that we've also learned. It turns out that Jerry Corsi knew about this case as early as 2011. He actually wrote an article about this blogger guy who wears a hammer and sickle communist hat. And it is alleged that the hammer and sickle communist hat wearing blogger actually worked with Robert Mueller as FBI director to set up a law enforcement presence at a courthouse in order to frame this man, Darren Huff, who ended up going to prison. I spoke to Darren Huff. He didn't want to comment for this report. But Jerry Corsi wrote about this blogger, and Jerry Corsi received a letter explaining in detail this blogger's involvement in the case that Robert Mueller is now being investigated for. So we know that Jerry Corsi knew Robert Mueller's secret for years. And this was never even exposed until Big League Politics reported on this just recently. But Jerry Corsi knew about this. Did Robert Mueller know that Jerry Corsi knew? It stands to reason that he did. And so we are starting to peel back the layers of this Russia hoax, okay? And we are starting to understand what's really going on here. And it might just be best at this point for Robert Mueller to cut his losses and wrap up this investigation and blame Hillary Clinton and Podesta. Because I don't think Robert Mueller wanted to investigate Russia, especially considering his role in the Uranium One scandal as a mule when Hillary Clinton sold our uranium to the Russians. And by the way, as Israeli media reported, after Hillary Clinton sold uranium to the Russians, Vladimir Putin turned right around and sold uranium to Iran. So Russia was acting as the middleman for Hillary Clinton to give 20% of our uranium overseas, and some of that uranium ended up in Iran, so that Iran presumably could build a nuclear bomb. Okay? These are not conspiracy theories. These are facts. This is what has been going on in our country for decades. This is what has been going on for the last 30 years of Bush and Hillary Clinton control of our governments and our fake news media. And so now it's time for us as citizens to exercise our rights as citizens of this republic and to say to Robert Mueller, you can't do this. You can't just frame people for crimes. And you certainly can't frame the President of the United States because he never colluded with Russia. The whole thing is nonsense. It is a witch hunt and it's a hoax. We will be back with you later.